Alright, I think I'm live streaming. Hello everybody, welcome to the Hilton Waikoloa, where I actually have a hotel room tonight. And no, it's not light outside, it's 9:15 here, I believe. So, and I forgot to pack a fancy shirt, so you get my rainbow unicorn shirt. That's what I have on today. I have that and a sunburn. So, this is a late show. The only other times I've done shows this late is when I mess around on Twitch and I get like 15 people showing up. So I've got 27 of you in here now. Man, all right. Leaky Mountain might come in. Jake, he's wandering around, probably open containering all over the hotel. So we'll see if he shows up through that door behind me here. Yeah, so what's the big news? Basically, Glass Castle Part 2 got written and posted on Reddit, and that blew some minds. So people wanted me to kind of layman terms it. So the central thesis behind it is that GameStop has pilfered some of the biggest minds in blockchain and managed to entice them to do a tantalizing project for GameStop. And to get some of these folks to come to a weird company like GameStop, it has to be really revolutionary and extremely badass. So what sounds like is on the table is that GameStop's going to kind of give an ultimatum to the powers that be, the exchanges and the clearing companies, and say, hey, you've got to clean this stuff up or else we're going to move to a different exchange. And it's hypothesized they're creating an exchange on the Loopring network, possibly their tier 2 of their Loopring network, where it's cheaper to do trades of Ethereum-based crypto, and that they're going to take the entire company, these 73 million whatever shares of GameStop, and lock them into one NFT. And that NFT is then going to be broken into 73 million coins that will then trade on the Loopring network. So essentially, they can do a stock recall that will pull all of the shares out of the DTCC and their trading computers, their fast system, and put it into this NFT, and then take the NFT and trade it on the Loopring, now like Bitcoin stock crypto network that they're going to create. This would force a squeeze of levels that have never been foreseen. Basically, it would It would cause every share to get recalled, tagged, replaced with an NFT, and dumped on this extra network, which means every single solitary share would have to be accounted for. They can't do it without all the shares. The NFT is all the shares in existence, and they can't do it without all the shares being recalled. So it's gonna be pretty incredible, I believe, when it goes up. Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry, one thing just was being weird. Okay, so that's like as much of a nutshell as I can talk about it without getting into the weird technical stuff that even I have a hard time with. But essentially, it's going to blockchain the stock and make it impossible to short sell it, and it's going to force it to squeeze in a way that no stock has probably ever squeezed. So, yeah. So there you go. For those of you who need the short and sweet Glass Castle Part 2 summary, that's all I got. Now, let's see what's on your minds, because I have nothing else to talk about. I just basically spent the entire day riding a water slide 500 times and getting a sunburn. So there's that. All right. Yeah, it's 2 a.m. or some of you are 3 a.m. I think some of you Euros are probably just waking up. M. Mosler, hi Houston, is it possible after MOAS the stock market will move to blockchain, maybe Solana? I think it's very possible they're going to be moving things to blockchain, simply because it's such a mess right now, and the fact that retail has figured out a way to beat the hedge funds means they're going to have to change the system. Either they can get rid of retail, which is a bad idea because they're so used to stealing our money for so long that if they get rid of retail, then they lose their income source. Or B, they move to blockchain and the hedge funds have to figure out a different way to make a fortune off of everyone's stocks. It might take a while to get done, but the groundwork is being laid, I believe, by GameStop. Mommy reads, aloha, Houston, from Oahu. Oh, hello. You're only 169 miles away from me. Do you believe AMC will squeeze at least $4,000 per share before October? Well, we made it past the 9th, and we didn't see the price action I thought we would. So I think that pushes the squeeze off unless we start to see a big market collapse. If the media harping about the debt ceiling, complaining about joblessness, complaining about COVID, talking about supply chain issues, inflation, if all those things start to ramp up successively over the next week, then we might see a big dip in the SPY and the Dow, and that gets us closer to MOAS. Now, the weird thing is that the SEC and the DTC, the rule that was about the SFR, the borrowing. So if a hedge fund is about to get liquidated, what they can do is they can take all their assets, give it to some sort of big bank or institution that will then lend them cash and put it into their accounts to close out positions. It's like a sneaky way of dark pooling huge amounts of assets without dumping them on the market. They postponed that rule until like November 10th, which, some people are like, hey, the powers that be are postponing the MOAS. They'll be in a terrible position if it squeezes before then and they don't throw that rule in place. But, look for next week. If the dire, the world's going to end news really ramps up next week, then we might see a good market drop before October, and then all of my October 15th calls and puts will woohoo! Until then, I'm sitting and waiting for that to take off. Okay. Oops. Oh, I got King-tastic. It's a nice Saturday morning in Norway. Welcome. All right, I've got New Zealand. New Zealand is it's just getting the evening hours for you, right? After the afternoon, early evening. James Grant also asks, Houston, how likely is it you think the MOAS will help September, October? Love your vids. Well, again, look, we have to pay attention to see how much bad news is coming out of the television people next week. I said, after Labor Day, they're going to start talking about the debt ceiling more and more, and they're starting to talk about it in all the mainstream news. Their Fox Business Channel, CNBC, nightly news, New York Times. They're talking about it a lot more. And CBJ, Yahoo Finance shows GME float as 248.48 million. Yeah, someone just sent me that link that the float all of a sudden is hundreds of millions, which is weird. That's not the float. The float's like 50 million, maybe less. Yeah. Okay. Derek's also on a neighbor island in Hawaii. Hello, all you late night owls in Hawaii. It's only like 9 o'clock, 9:30. 3:30 a.m. in Canada. Oh, someone's far east in Canada. Sup, Houston? What happens with metamaterial this week? I think metamaterial is going to slowly, because I was expecting more pop from it this week, but I think we're going to slowly see the price action climb. George, the CEO, that's Greek, I can't say it. George. CEO George, he did an interview, I guess this week, where he flat out said, we're in a short squeeze position. There's way too many naked shorts of Torchlight, and no one's done anything about it, and our preferred share dividend is absolutely gnarly, and they've got to close their positions at some point. So no one else, no other CEO has said anything like that about their stocks. They're coy. They say, we don't actually know how many naked shares there could be out there. We don't have any idea. We can't say if there'll be a short squeeze or not. George is basically saying we're in a short squeeze position. This sucker's going to squeeze. And I think that's rather bullish and ballsy because most CEOs don't want to come out and say that. But maybe because he's Canadian, he can get away with it. I don't know. Greek Canadian. Man, there's 143 of you in here at whatever god-awful hour it is for all of you. 7:30 p.m. Okay, not open. All right. Well, Lugs, I tried the opposite of what Kramer says. Yeah, if you do the opposite of Kramer, I think you'd be up like 700% this year. And if you trade according to what Kramer recommends, you're down 43%. I think is what someone calculated last month. So, yeah. Sorry, my screen keeps resetting and it's very annoying. But there's some questions and it's scrolling past them. Got Central California in here. Hello, Eric. Keep buying AMC and GME. Guess we like the stocks. Yep. Nick Wright, who do you think is the best CEO now between AMC and GME? Well, GME, we all know GME is actually led by Ryan Cohen, who's the chairman of the board. He's the one dictating policy right now. The CEO of GME is just Ryan Cohen's puppet at this point. Ryan Cohen's the one with the vision. He's the diabolical monster who's running the show, and he's absolutely going to be changing the game in a way that no one else has. They'll be like, drinking songs that are odes to him. There'll be people who sing 1,000 years from now because of what weird things he's doing with this company. Basically, what he was taking the fundamentals of the company and he's rocking and rolling with that. He's getting them to become an e-commerce company. He's expanding, possibilities for branding, for creating gathering spaces out of their shops, and those things are awesome. But the way he may be moving the company into the blockchain ahead of everyone else is going to be so revolutionary and just blow minds. It's seriously click in the description, read the Glass Castle Part 2. It's mind-boggling what the potential, what could be happening. I was thinking that they would create some sort of NFT that would record people's share count, and that would force a share count to go out there, which would then show the world what's happening. And they're taking it a step further. They might be moving the entire company into blockchain with their shares, and you might even have more weird things coming up, mergers and deals and whatnot. So I am a Ryan Cohen bull all the way. So I set up MetaMat to 20 in a couple months. I hope MetaMat to 20 by October 15th. I'd like to see it pop that and above by then. Everton Lacerda, Houston, do you think MetaMat can squeeze before GME and AMC? Looking to put MetaMat into GME and AMC. Me too. I was hoping that was going to pop this week and I could use that to buy a bunch of GME if I could. But it went up a little bit, went up like $1, and here we sit, we wait. Touched 615, I believe, on Tuesday, and then it's been kind of, the floor is like $5.30. That's kind of been where it's been bouncing off of. But the TA, I was watching people do TA, and all of them were pointing to a much higher share price in the near future. So, yeah. M. Mosier, or Mosier, Bitcoin El Salvador. Edward Snowden said on Twitter that every country now is forced to acquire Bitcoin, even if only as a reserve asset. What do you think this thing will play out? Well, I think Bitcoin is still heavily owned by hedge funds, and that and other digital currencies are being used to pump assets so they can gain margin. I fully expect there to be a big dumping of digital coins before the next kind of squeeze or pop. There was a weird thing yesterday, and I totally missed out on it. So, Coinbase Pro launched a Shiba Inu wallet. And there was arbitrage where the price of Shiba Inu on Coinbase was like 80 times that of other markets. And so my friend Matt, he was able to transfer from crypto.com into Shiba Inu, and he made like $32,000 yesterday off of a $1,000 investment. And he's like, dude, he's already texting me. He's like, dude, you need to transfer into Coinbase Pro. And so I opened Coinbase Pro, went to get my Shiba Inu wallet address, and it just gave me the spinning circle. It gave me the spinning circle for 20 hours. And then this morning, by the time it finally gave me my wallet address, the price on Coinbase had dropped back down to, 7/100,000ths or whatever it was. And all my coins were worth exactly what they were in the other wallet. But there might be another arbitrage, because word is that Robinhood is going to be moving their crypto accounts to actual wallets where you can transfer money in and out digitally rather than just the weird, they say you have coins but you can't do anything with it. And they'll be adding Shiba Inu. So there might be another arbitrage situation where if you can take all of your Shiba Inu, transfer it into a wallet on Robinhood, you may have like a 10-hour window to sell it for a fortune while they're trying to like load up on those things. It's pretty wild that like folks who bought Shiba Inu yesterday on Coinbase saw their assets like shrink by 99% overnight, and they're all pissed and they're threatening to sue Coinbase. Like Coinbase may be facing more lawsuits, and people are threatening to sue because Coinbase wouldn't give them the wallet, and they couldn't transfer the stuff in time to make money. And so you may be getting, like, if you're a member of Coinbase, you may be getting postcards in the mail saying that, hey, are you part of a class action lawsuit? So maybe this be $40 coming your way, whatever the settlement is on that sucker. It's always something. But yeah, I think in general, digital currencies can take a huge hit during MOAS and then pop right back up again. Okay. Jimmy the Frank super chat says, in dark times, just say hello. Hi, Jimmy. It is a weird, we are in a weird situation in this world, man. So keep your head up. Look forward to MOAS. Reach out to people if you need to. Know that I'm saying hello. Hi, Jimmy. Take care. Be well. And Carlos Oreo Cruz. Thank you for super chat, Carlos. Sorry, my screen loves to reset the chat, and then I lose what everyone's saying here. Derek Eaton, GameStop, in their latest 10Q, say that short position is greater than 100%. That is what's filed this week. I did not read the 10Q. I've been sitting on beaches. I have not been doing as much reading as I should. I suppose I spend an hour in the morning arguing with people on Twitter, and then I go to a beach. And that's been my vacation. So that oops, sorry, my stupid thing quit resetting, you dumb screen. So yeah, GameStop is definitely short more than 100%. Get It Got's poll is basically showing that there's probably 1.7 billion to 4 billion naked shares for GameStop alone. The poll, the registration for the most recent AMC call, 1.4% of owners showed they had 14% of the company. So there's definitely there's just a lot of naked shares out there, and no one's doing anything about it. Sorry, I think my video is pretty terrible. I don't think I've got the greatest internet. I never have the greatest internet anywhere I go. It's the most frustrating freaking thing in the entire world. But, hopefully the sound's coming through. As long as you close your eyes and imagine, just listen to the sound of my voice. coming through my tiny little microphone, wherever it is on this computer. Okay. Christian's also asking about the Yahoo float number. Yahoo float number is weird. It's always so strange how anytime there's a glitch, that glitch seems to point to the fact that there is a huge amount of naked shares, or that the price should be much higher than it really is. The glitches only seem to do that. It's pretty wild. Yeah. So it's why are there only glitches that seem to indicate that there's massive shenanigans going on, and never glitches that seem to show that everything's normal? Weird. Okay. Marty's in Chicago. Hey, Marty. Sunny side up. Transferred from Webull to Fidelity, and they couldn't transfer my preferred shares. Strange. I wonder if it's because they're untradeable that they can't transfer. But that doesn't make any sense because they can't send a price to them. So does that mean your preferred shares just sitting in Webull and they're not moving anywhere? That's wild. That's a mind blower right there. Yeah. Huh. The end is nigh. Houston, what do you think of when you're lonely and sad to make yourself feel better? Oh man, I'm generally a pretty positive dude. This past winter was brutal. I was in a dark place this winter. I submitted my last term paper in like December 15th, and then I don't think I just got out of bed for 3 months. I don't remember doing anything. The dog was depressed, I was depressed, we just sat there. It was kind of, the thing that brought me out of it actually was getting vaccinated and knowing that like I can not worry about being the one to kill my parents because they're vaccinated, I'm vaccinated, everyone was vaccinated, and that kind of lifted my spirits a bit. And then I fell into this weird world of YouTube and had something to do. Projects are the thing that make me happy. If I have the ability to build something, make something, I don't know, tackle stuff, design things, like get my brain moving, I love projects. I love making things and seeing them through to the finish and then go on to the next thing. That's kind of that's my happy place is like plotting and planning and building. I don't know. It depends on what makes you sad. Are you sad because of the situation? Are you sad because of brain chemistry? Are you sad because you're bored? You might have to just think about like what kind of sadness is affecting you at the moment. For me, it's kind of a lack of tasks is what brings me down. If I have nothing to do, my brain starts to melt a little bit. Oh, here comes Leaky Mountain. He's coming. Hey, Jake. Hello. I'm alive. All right. So we got 207 night owls on here right now.
Oh, nice.
Hanging out. Yeah. So, those are the things I do to make me happy, and that's what I'm working for. All right. Pete, what do you make of the two Fed presidents selling before the end of September? Yeah, really convenient that they all of a sudden said, "Oh, we've got this conflict of interest. We need to dump all these blue chip stocks right before they're probably all going to tank." So, I think it's a very convenient thing. They should have been made to do that stuff before they became Fed presidents, or at least put it into a trust they have no access, a blind trust they have no access to. Yeah, yeah, very convenient that now is when they've decided that they should get rid of their conflicts of interest. Yeah. Pretty damn convenient. Elon Husk asks, is there a chance of Webull-like brokerage go bankrupt because their bank goes bankrupt and we don't get the money? I mean, if Webull or Robinhood or groups like that haven't figured out their payment for order flow system for when things squeeze and the price goes to the roof, they could definitely make themselves vanish. The big problem with that payment for order flow is, I mean, I explained it a dozen times now, but you pay them $100 for a share, they go out looking for it for $99.99 somewhere and pocket that penny. Well, if you're in a squeeze situation, you give them $100 for that share and they wait a moment to try and find it for $99.99 and the prices go to $110, then they're going to lose $10 on that trade trying to get you your share. And so during the baby squeeze, these phone apps that act as brokerages were essentially using up all of their margin on when his price is squeezing. Robinhood isn't doing payment for order flow in the dark pools. It is, in fact, going straight to the exchange and making that trade at the price you asked, and then coming back with it. And so, because if they don't, they're going to vaporize themselves. Sorry, I think my video froze for a long time. The hotels have the worst Wi-Fi in the entire world. And of course, I didn't bring an Ethernet cable to plug into that stupid hole in the wall right there. So we're stuck with the hotel Wi-Fi. Oh, Get Real's being nice, Night Owl. Welcome, Get Real. Of course, you want to reset. You always want to reset. Oh goodness, there's like 12 million chats in here before I had a chance to. Okay, there's Jimmy the Frank. Cooper, what's more likely to happen first, Moas or Ems make the playoffs? Oh man, I have not looked at what the Mariners are doing since I got to Hawaii. Oh, I looked the other day. They were like, what, 4 games out of the wild card? So let's see here. Let's American League standings. Bing. What's the other Mariners doing? I haven't looked recently. Okay, Red Sox are 559. Yankees just behind them. Blue Jays. Oh shit, we're all getting close there. What about? Okay, no one in Mariners 546. The Mariners are 77 wins. Red Sox 80. So technically, the Mariners are like 3 or 4 games out of the wild card. Not too shabby. They can do it. I mean, in 1995, they were 13 games out. At August 31st, they ended up getting into the wild card and making it the playoffs. So it can be done. It is possible. Is it going to happen? I mean, the Mariners can't hit a ball to save their lives. They have a team batting average of like 199. It is god awful. It's the worst offense of any team to be above 500, I think, ever. And their pitching's not even that good. So I don't know how they're winning games. Their run differential is like so negative. They just happen to get like blown out of the water and then they win 2 close games. That's kind of how it rolls. It's wild. Eric Salinas, hey Houston, what's your favorite comedy? Like TV show or movie? TV show, I'm going to go with Community. I've seen Community like 7 times. Cartoon, Metalocalypse. Movie, my favorite comedy movie. What's yours, Jake? It's always put on the spot. There's lots that I enjoy. I don't know if I have a favorite. I like Kung Fu Hustle, cracks me up. Major League cracks me up. Big Lebowski cracks me up. Grandma Boy cracks me up. Spaceballs, yeah, yeah. And just pretty much anything that Mel Brooks has done just cracks my shit up. We'll just go with Mel Brooks. And go from there. Okay. Dan Sanchez says, Houston, the swap roll date was the 9th, but expiration is the 17th according to DD. Yeah, so yesterday they should have done all the rollover, or today. Today's the 9th, today's Friday. No, yesterday, Thursday was the 9th. So yesterday they should have had everything, or I guess some of you guys are on the 11th now. So days ago, whenever the 9th was when they should have done all the rollover for the swaps, and we should have seen a bunch of buy pressure, and we didn't. So it makes me wonder if they came up with a new scheme or if everyone's hypothesis was all wrong. We saw a little bit of buy pressure last week for some stocks and a little bit this week. We didn't see any for the big boys, for AMC and GME. they kind of pumped and then held flat. I mean, today AMC closed above 50, which, if we're lucky, makes some gamma for next week. But, yeah. Moreau Tyner, check out Keith Apologetic on that guy Astro's channel. Was wondering what your thoughts were. Is that the guy that was looking at the codes in the order flow and basically calling prices, saying, hey, this 6 here means it's going to make a run to this price. And when they put a 250, that means let it go. When they put it in the sell side, it means stop. It's pretty crazy. He's sitting there and he was just calling it out on his phone, and it was hitting all those prices. It was wild. If you guys find a link to it, check it out. So on Astro's channel, this dude called in and he's like, hey, I figured out, looking at the level 2 data, I can call the price within 15 minutes by looking at, they have a code in the way they order. So they do 6 orders at this price and they do 10 of them in a row. It means the price is going to run to whatever the middle price is. And if they end it in a 9, it means it's going to drop to this one. It's weird stuff. And he was on the phone with them calling the price for AMC like on the button. He was saying, oh, in 15 minutes it's going to be this price. In 15 minutes it was totally that price. So there's definitely an SEC whistleblower reward in there, because that's proving collusion. And so the guys on that channel, they were talking about basically writing a script that would just mess with the hedge funds who were in collusion with each other. And it's wild. You should check out the video. I think it was on Thursday that he called in and was showing them during their live show exactly what's going on. Pedro Arias. Hey, thanks for all you do. You've helped my family in understanding what's going on. I'm curious, would you hold at least 10 to 20% GME after the squeeze? If so, is computer share the best place for long term? Folks are having a hard time getting their shares into computer share. There was a thing that came up that said, hey, we can't do it because computer share can only have legit shares. It can't have synthetic shares. And they aren't able to go out and find any legit shares for people to put into that account. So there's, I think, 2.5 million GME currently in computer share. And most of those folks, I think, bought through computer share. So you might not be able to transfer them in there. You may be able to open up a new account with computer share and purchase GameStop through there. But I don't think you'll be able to transfer shares in, just because they can't take the naked shares. And the powers that be aren't getting off their asses to find legit shares to give to you so you can put them into your computer share account. So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it depends on how high the price goes on GME, whether I'm going to hold till after the squeeze. If I can make, tens of millions of dollars off each share, I'm probably going to jettison all of them. And I'll just wait until the squeeze is over and then buy a bunch back, because that's what I can do. But it's going to be really hard for me to be like, oh, I'm going to take these dozens of shares and not sell them for posterity's sake. I don't care about posterity. I don't have any children, so I want money for me, and so I can stay at a place like the Hilton Waikoloa for the rest of my life, and live in luxury, and ride water slides and get sunburns. So yeah, but post squeeze, I believe in the things that GameStop's doing. I think they're a blue chip all the way. So why not? They'll probably be firing out dividends soon enough. Come on, click. Yeah, so definitely check out the Astro's channel for that guy that was like calling the share prices. It's pretty incredible. He didn't quite explain all. They said there's 5 algorithms that they switch between, and he's now identified each one of the 5 algorithms. Then he can tell which one they're using at a time, and then they'll like switch it up the next day and change it all. So yeah. It's not a hospital bracelet. This is the I'm allowed to ride on the water slides bracelet. Brian Strange. So this allows me to ride in the water slides, and no one's going to yell at me for it. There's only one. There's like there's there's a big water slide, and then there's the fun water slide, which is not that big, but it's under maintenance right now, so we can't ride on it. So we're stuck doing the big water slide, and you have to make a game of it when it's like it's not that big. It's like a 5-second ride, but so my friends and I decide to okay, who can get the furthest distance coasting at the end of the water slide. And today I was the victor. I made it all the way to the back wall of the pool before I stopped off of one water slide glide. I think I impressed all of the middle-aged ladies. They were definitely like, ooh, look at him go like a knife through the water. But I almost kicked an old lady in the face because she was in the blast zone, man. I had to hit the brakes hard. All right. Okay. BTW Brand says the connection is great. The video might be herky-jerky, but the audio comes through, so that's good. At least the audio is coming through. Greg F. Hey Houston, I posted DD about the consumer financial blah 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 allowing the CME to move their futures position. Thoughts if you read it. Blue Press. I've not read it. Send it to me on Twitter DM or something. I'll give it a read. Sorry, I haven't seen it yet. I've been on vacation. I got some reading done last night before I passed out, and that was about it. That's all I'm good for at the moment. Christian C. Hey Houston, have you seen the difference between float and shares outstanding on GME and Yahoo? Yeah, people have been posting about that. Yahoo's nuts. I don't know what's going on and why there's a glitch showing there's 240 million shares when there's only 70 million. That does not make any sense. They might be looking at, the float plus whatever institutions claim they own, and maybe that's what they're calling the float. Institutions claim they own 300% of the actual float. And so then maybe there's some math they're doing in there, and that's bleeding over. So, and that makes sense if they think they own 150 to 200 million shares, because that's what they're claiming on their 13Fs. Then, so let's say it's 200 million shares that they claim they own, and then retail, must own 40 million shares because that's the float, and they're just adding those together, and that might get you the 248. Weird stuff, man. Beats by the Wood. Comcast should give all professors free 1 gigabit internet speeds. Yes, they should, Comcast. You should do that for us, because I'm sick of this crap. And I should be able to check into a 4-star hotel and get internet that lets my video stream. Of course, probably every person in every room in this hotel right now is streaming Netflix. Or me. So, yeah. Okay. Dr. Dossier? Hi all. Thanks for the chat, Houston. Can't sleep. Just lost my mom. Aw. Longest of 20 years. She was 7 blocks from World Trade Center. Goodness gracious. I'm sorry you lost your mom, man. What a rough 20th anniversary this is. Goodness gracious. I'm sorry about that. I hope all is well and that you can get some peace and find your grief there. Yeah. And Ryan says, ask drunky roommate Leaky Mountain a question that'll make his brain hurt.
I resemble that.
What's a good question for Jake? If you guys have good volcano questions, he is the volcano master. I only play one on YouTube. But he's the true volcano wizard. He leads tours out to the mountain and pokes lava with hammers all the time, and does samples and surveys, and yeah, he's the badass volcano man. I show up every once in a while and poke it with a stick and make it make jet engine noises. That's what I do with volcanoes. Yeah. He goes, awesome. You take a big stick, you stick it in 2,000 degree lava, and it goes blue flames shoot out of it, and it'll do that for quite a while. It's pretty awesome. I highly recommend it. You also will lose all of your arm hair and leg hair if you are not. Yeah. Oh, it's so hot out there. Can't wear jeans. I just think the last time I might have video footage somewhere. It might be on my old computer, on like film with a potato from our old digital cameras in like 2004. And basically, it's me screaming because it's so hot as I jam sticks in the lava, and that's pretty much it.
What's louder, you screaming or the jet sound from the stick?
Yes. So.
That spirit of being drunken.
Okay. Queen Fox. Hey Houston, when market starts to crash, what will happen first? Funds that are long on meme stocks sell, or funds that are short close their shorts? I think short funds are going to close. Well, I think short funds are going to be liquidated, and that's going to be our first trigger. Is going to be seeing a whole bunch of stocks get dumped on the market, other assets being dumped, and basically deals forming on that. And then we'll see the price jump. So once we see the price jump, then we'll see institutions, they'll start selling, because these institutions, they might not have the gung-ho-edness of the apes who are like, I'm going to hold for infinity, I'm going to hold for $1 million, I'm going to hold for $10 million a share, $100 million a share. The institutions, they've got so many millions of shares, or at least synthetics, that when it gets to thousands of dollars, they're going to be like, ouch, I just made billions of dollars for my boss. They should be happy. So we'll see blue chips in the Dow crater before we see all of our stocks shoot to the moon, hours or days later. Someone else was saying it's like a 5-day process from margin call to liquidation. Basically, the margin call, supposed to meet that margin call. If they don't, then like some bureaucracy stuff happens, and then they start to get liquidated and forced to buy out. So it might take 5 days from margin call to purchase of shares. Yeah, I think that's where we're looking. Okay. Pedro Arias, do you think GameStop can stay above 100,000 after squeeze? No. I think GameStop, fundamentals, it should be a $30 billion company. And so, because you're making $6.5 billion a year in sales, $30 billion is about right. Let's see here. I don't have the calculator set up on this thing, so 30 billion divided by 73 million. So post squeeze, GameStop should be around $400 to $500 a share. That's where it should be. Oh shoot, I just missed a super chat. But right now, its share price should be absolutely ridiculous. Its share price should be $4,000 or $5,000 a share pre-squeeze, simply because so many naked shares have been created that if you took the market cap of all those naked shares and you divided them by the 73 million shares that exist, you get like $4,000 or $5,000 a share, maybe more. That's at 1.7 billion naked shorts. If it's at 4 billion, multiply that sucker by 3, and there you go. You're at $15,000 a share. So let me try to scroll and find this super chat I just missed, because the whole point of having a super chat is that I answer their questions. And let me scroll back up. There it is. Ryan, is Jake long or short on pizza flavored vodka?
Short.
He's short on it. I think it's hard to be long on any alcohol, really. Come on, get in there. Keep streaming. All right, reconnected. All right. Is it? Sorry, my OBS software decided to just disconnect from the internet all of a sudden and freeze me. So did I manage to answer his question?
Short or long on vodka?
Yeah.
Pizza flavored
He's
vodka.
he's short on vodka. No, he's long. Wait, what were you? Short.
I'm short.
He's short.
On pizza flavored vodka.
Yes.
Have
All right.
vodka in the bag.
Okay. Oh, all right, let's get back up here. So I'm like 20 minutes behind in the chat, so maybe more. You guys are asking so many questions doing a late night one. Holy smokes. Oh, maybe I'm 30 minutes behind. Holy moly, where am I?
Hilton, Waikoloa internet.
Yeah, I'm short on Hilton Waikoloa internet. Okay, there's Christian C's question. There's And okay, there we are. Okay. Can't Stop, Won't Stop, GameStop. Hey Houston, please contact the Bowl House on YouTube or KR Hamblin. They want to have you on. Yeah. Send them to my Twitter. I always see my Twitter DMs, so if you can send them my way and have me send me a Twitter DM, let's do it. I love jumping on people's shows simply because I cannot figure out how to host anybody, let alone keep my own show going for more than an hour before it crashes. So if other people have the power to host, I will gladly guest star. I don't know how to bring in my own guest stars. Oh, now my computer's telling me it wants to reboot. No, don't restart, you jerk. We just did that. Okay. You do not restart while I'm doing this. I'll be so mad. So mad. I had a final. It was like a 4-hour-long final, and my stupid desktop computer decided to shut down and spend the next 3 hours doing the next Windows update. Oh my gosh, I was about to murder. Okay. Fabian Garcia. Houston, will MetaMat squeeze before AMC and GME? I hope so. I hope MetaMat squeezes to $100. I hope it squeezes to $1,000. If it squeezes $1,000, I'm retired. If it squeezes to $100, I've got a couple of years I can live off of that. And that allows me to buy a boatload of GameStop. So I would gladly have metamaterial squeezed to $100 sometime in the next week would be awesome, but before October 15th would be extremely awesome, because that's what all my call options are. I've got 20,000 shares or something in options, and I want those suckers to squeeze. Okay. Pedro Arias is asking about the loop ring thing. I talked about first thing in the show. I talked about loop ring and the possible blockchain for NFT for GameStop's shares. So you can go back to that in there. Beast by the Wood had to break up with a girl. She's bipolar type 2. It is really tough. I dated a girl who's bipolar. It is emotionally exhausting. I couldn't do it. I am not a psychotherapist. I'm not trained in that way, and I can't be someone with professional help. It's exhausting. So, but she did get the help she needed, which was great. She's living her best life. I just was not the person with the technical ability to do that for her. Derek Eden says, be on the lookout for SPY puts this week. 7 months this year, week of monthly options expiration. All right. I've got a couple of SPY puts for October as well, and VIX calls. Hoping those suckers pay off too. Basically, I'm hoping everything just eats shit come September, beginning of October. That's kind of what I'm banking on at the moment. Houston, what is your favorite Seattle area restaurant? Got to take my wife out for her birthday this month. Oh man, I don't know what's even around anymore. My favorite restaurant ever was Agate Pass Cafe when it was in Squamish. New person owns it now. It's not quite as good. It's on Bainbridge now. What would be a favorite restaurant? Seattle, you just can't go wrong with sushi anywhere. I like Nijo's. It's right by the ferry. It's really convenient. Happy hour is awesome. The deep fried tempura fried sushi roll is can't remember what it is. Which one is Bainbridge roll or something? And it's got cream cheese in it. It is freaking delicious, and I highly recommend it. What other restaurants are even open right now? Who's around? I don't know. I'm not in Seattle at all anymore. Because COVID. I did some big walks in the city, but I wasn't going to restaurants. Klotz's Deli has a pretty good pastrami. Not as good as Monono Mini Mart, but it's pretty good. Their bread pudding kicks ass. Wild Ginger's always tasty. Do they still exist? Are they still around? they own the Triple Door, and that's a big thing. But the Triple Door is dependent upon like people doing shows. People have been doing shows, so who knows what's going on there? I think El Gaucho moved, or they might not exist anymore. What other good restaurants are there that really knock people's socks off? I'll have to think about it because I have no idea who's around. Sorry, not more help. La Fermata. If La Fermata is still in Minette and Bremerton, that place is amazing. And it's out in the middle of nowhere, and no one thinks about a fancy restaurant being in Bremerton. La Fermata in Bremerton had one of the best steaks I've ever had in my entire life, and everything else there was just on point. I highly recommend them. Hopefully they're still around. Yeah. My friend Liz always has her birthday parties there, and they're delicious every single time. Okay, I am 26 minutes behind in the chat. Let's see. Let's get up here. Let's see here. Roger Wilco 03, good morning from Germany. The markets are rigged for so long. What is different this time? The difference is retail is onto it. They figured out a strategy, and the strategy is simple, which is buy and hold, buy the dip, and that's all they're doing. They're not dumping their shares, because remember, for the shorts for the short attack to work, retail has to panic and sell. So you have the share prices at a certain level, and the hedge funds naked short drop the price down. And they naked short a whole bunch and drop it down significantly, 10, 15, 20%. And then retail goes, oh my God! And they drive it down even further, which allows the short sellers to naked short more and drive it down. And their goal is to get it down to zero. If they get down to zero, they're in that loophole zone where they don't have to pay any taxes, and they just made a fortune. And what happened is that they drive the price of GameStop down. Retail went, oh my God, no! They sold all their shares, and they shorted it again to drive it down to zero. Then all of a sudden, Keith Gill was like, hey everybody, I think we should all buy this stock and hold on to it. And everyone went, okay. And drove back up here, and the shorts went, oh no, our losses are huge. And that's where we are. That's the difference, is that we're buying and holding and not doing anything with it, and they can't get retail to panic and sell to drive the price back down. And now they're all out, hundreds of billions of dollars across the market on just these few meme stocks. I know people don't like going to use meme stocks, but meme stocks are they're the stocks that are shorted. Just think of it that way. Yeah. Oh, Pedro says they cut my part when talking about Robinhood margin. Ah, nuts. I have to go over that again. Payment for order flow. All right, so Robinhood works on payment for order flow. So you buy a share for $100. They're going to wait a moment and try to find a share for $99.99 and then pocket that penny. That's how they make their profit. That's how you do broker actions without charging a commission. Problem is that when there was a squeeze, you're like, I want to buy this stock for $100. And Robinhood would wait a moment, and they couldn't find it for $99.99. Instead, the cheapest price was $110, so they lost $10 on that price. And someone wanted to buy it at $110, they wait a moment, it was $130. They're like, oh my God, it's just screaming away from them. And so Robinhood did all those trades on margin, and all of a sudden they're losing piles of money from the FOMO squeeze, the baby squeeze, and they just got obliterated, and they got margin called, and they had to turn off the buy button because they couldn't afford to buy your stocks anymore. And so for the future, for Robinhood and Webull and these other groups that are these little phone apps for trading stocks, for them to survive a squeeze, they have to turn off payment for order flow. And if they're smart, they've got a button somewhere that says no more payment for order flow. And that way, they just route directly to the exchange and buy your share. They don't route anything through the dark pool. They don't wait a moment to try and find it cheaper somewhere, because that's not how squeezes work. Squeezes, the price is going to rocket, and you can't do anything about that. You're not going to find it cheaper anywhere. So if Robinhood wants to survive and they want their shareholders to survive, they're going to have to turn off payment for order flow when the MOAS happens. Ryan asking, have Jake pick his 3 favorite volcanoes and play Fuck, Marry, Kill with them.
I remember what that is.
All right. All right. I'll pick 3 volcanoes for you, and you gotta do fuck, marry, kill.
Oh shit.
All right. So we'll start with. All right. We'll do the big 3 on the island. How about that? Kilauea, Mauna Loa, Mauna Kea. Fuck, marry, kill. So if you guys don't know, Kilauea is the active volcano. Mauna Loa is the largest volcano on Earth, and Mauna Kea is the tallest volcano on the island where all the telescopes are.
So I guess I would fuck Kilauea, marry Mauna Loa, and kill Mauna Kea.
All right, he's gonna fuck Kilauea, marry Mauna Loa, and kill Mauna Kea. All right, sorry telescopes, you're gone. And you know the caldera is pretty sexy on Kilauea. Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
pretty flirtatious with Pele.
It's true. It's true. And Mauna Loa is just a giant, scary volcano, so you just gotta do what she says.
To compete with Kamapua'a.
Yep. And no one gives a shit about Hawaii or the Kohala. So Hawaii hasn't erupted since 1793 or something. Who cares about that? Yeah.
Although the last time it did, it took less than 3 hours for it to get to the water.
That's true. It's speedy. Yeah. And this 10,000-year-old lava flow we're on is Hawaii, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the daytime, maybe I'll get you guys some pictures. There's basically just black all lava that goes up the hill, and it's 10,000 years old and it's so dry here. There's nothing growing on it still.
Poor Kahala used to be the
Yeah.
size of Mauna Loa.
Yep.
Mauna Kea actually rides on top of it.
Yep. Yeah.
Gets no love.
No, Kohala gets no love. Once the dikes burst and all the valleys formed, Kohala became the Kohala Mountains rather than a mountain. So, c'est la vie. C'est la vie, geology. Okay, let's get to a little more time relevant stuff here. Turtle B, do you think Hitler escaped to Argentina? Nah, I don't think he escaped to Argentina. I think it makes great plot points in TV shows and stuff. But no, Hitler was like shaky Parkinson's guy. I think he blew his brains out. But you know, if he did make it to Argentina, well, a lot of good it probably did him. There are a lot of good dudes who escaped to South America, though, with some very German last names. Oh, Kung Pao. Kung Pao is a great movie. Kung Pao Into the Fist is hilarious. The movie got like 0 stars, went to the theater, and I just died. It's so funny. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Basically, the dude took like 4 Chinese kung fu movies from the 60s and 70s and spliced them together and then digitally inserted himself into them and just redubbed it. It's so funny. Steve Odenkirk. He's the guy that directed like Jimmy Neutron. And there was a movie with Tim Robbins and Martin Lawrence. I don't remember what it's called. He directed that too. Has he done anything else recently? I have no idea. I think he just made Jimmy Neutron. That made him rich. So he says Jimmy Neutron things from now on. Lugs asked, do you pour your milk before or after you pour your cereal? Wife's cereal, then milk. What type of psychopath pours their milk and then dumps cereal into it? That's just asking to have to clean up your counter. That's terrible. Why would you do that? Yeah. No. Don't. Stop it. All right. Okay. Garfield Connolly Gherkin figured out that roll dates for futures are different than roll dates for options. Short hedge funds have until the 17th. The 9th wasn't a hard stop. Oh, really? So that means next week might be a bit of a pop, you say? Well, I'm all ready for it. Let's do it. Let's. I want to open up my trading app on Monday and go, oh my, and then regret flying during the middle of the day on Wednesday. Actually, no. The market will close by the time I'm flying on Wednesday, They closed at 10 here, right? So yeah, I'll be on the plane at like noon. I'm fine. Okay, so we'll be fine. I'll just be driving the entire time the market's going and trying not to crash my car. They really made a mistake. They gave me way too fast of a car. I'm really surprised I haven't gotten nothing but tickets so far. And they gamified the entire thing. So like, it shows me how many horsepower I'm using, and I flip the screen, and all of a sudden it shows me like the G-forces I've taken to the right, to the left, braking, accelerating, and it really wants you to like set new records because it has like the high. And so I've been finding the windiest, most empty roads and just pushing this car, and it's several hundred horsepower to the absolute limits. I've got this crazy, they gave me a Charger with a Hemi V8 that's like 400 and something horsepower. The thing is crazy fast. And yeah, so, you know, I may be wrapping myself around an Ohia tree at some point. We'll find out. Here I am asked thoughts on depression, what causes it primarily, and how to get out of it. Oh man, people asking a lot of depression questions at night. I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but I think there's several factors for depression. There's situational, right? Like there's a malaise of something going wrong in your life, and or sadness or grief that can lead to those things. I think there's chemical imbalances. I think for a lot of people, it's stagnation and boredom. You know, you got to talk to a mental health professional and figure out which one you may suffer from if you're suffering from one. And you know, sometimes the answer is it might be a chemical thing imbalance in your brain. You might need medication. Other things might mean that, you know, you might need to take on a new project or change locations or leave a group of friends. I remember once I was dating a girl, and I took her, it was a really hot summer, and so everyone's tomato plants were doing well. And my best friend and his wife decided to have a tomato party where everyone would bring tomato plants in, and they were going to exchange heirloom tomatoes and just have an excuse to like drink beer and barbecue things. And I brought this girl along as a date, and you know, there were some rad people at the party. There was a guy who's a professional skier. There was a dude who was like the weatherman for the local TV station. There were like professional beer brewers and distillers, and a helicopter pilot, and my friend, he like builds bicycles and skis from scratch in his garage, and you know, we built kayaks together and all sorts of cool stuff in there. And she really didn't talk much at all the entire time. She said hello to people, but then just didn't ask questions, and was really quiet, kind of meek. The way back from the party, you know, I was like, penny for your thoughts, you really weren't talking to people. And she said, your friends are really nice and they do cool things. My friends aren't nice at all, and they don't do anything. I was like, huh, then why are they your friends? Right? Like, just because you've known someone since you were 6 years old doesn't mean they're not a piece of shit now. You don't have to be tied to them for the rest of your life if they make you miserable and you're not happy. Sometimes you just gotta change the situation, and you gotta find, you know, the friends or the family you choose. And sometimes you gotta break out of a situation and be like, no, you're not a good person. I don't want to hang out with you. I want to do something else with my life, and find those people who will appreciate you and treat you well. You know, that's one of those things that I had a realization at one point. I was like, I don't have to be friends with the jerks, and so, you know, I've got a few rules for if I'm going to let somebody in my life, they have to like behave by some sort of norm and not be a piece of crap human being. And you know, I think setting boundaries for yourself is a good way to kind of get yourself out of that malaise sometimes. And like I said before, you know, sometimes having a task, getting a hobby, having a project, build, like the joy of putting something together, building something, creating something, you know, whether making a quilt, a birdhouse, a raised flower bed, working on a car, like the task and the intricacy is zen. It is absolute like meditation. It is, you can reach moksha, you can reach Zen Buddhist state, you can achieve the highest realm while you're doing these simple little tasks and making something from your heart and your mind. It's awesome, and I encourage everyone. You may have a chemical imbalance in your brain. It may make you have a funk and a malaise and depression, but yeah, seek medication, but also like find a task, find something to do, find a purpose, and it might be volunteering, it might be going for bike rides, it might be taking walks with the dog. I don't know. Find that thing that can like make your heart full, and do it. That's my unprofessional advice. You can take it, but also please go see a professional. That also helps, because they can find all sorts of things that are deep seated that your subconscious is mulling over, and they can break it out, tear it apart, and help you toss it away or get over it. So do what you can, man. Life's worth living, so live it. Okay, let's get in here. Let's see that question. I was really tired like an hour ago, but now I'm humming.
Contact drinking.
Yeah. I've got my Menehune water. That's what's keeping me going here. Maybe I was just dehydrated. That might have been what it was. Just baking in the sunshine all day.
And the pulled pork is kicking in.
Yeah, the pulled pork is kicking in. That was actually a pretty decent pork sandwich. Okay. Jimmy beta dropped to -22 as previously -8. Can you explain? Okay, it depends on which beta it is. There's like a daily beta, there's weekly, there's yearly, there's like 2-year beta. Basically, beta is, this is from Drew Soul, by the way. Basically, beta is how a stock reacts with the market. So a beta of 0 means it does exactly what the market does. They flow with each other, doing exactly the same thing. A positive beta means when the stock market goes up, the stock goes even higher. When the stock market goes down, the stock goes even lower. A negative beta means when the stock market goes up, the negative beta stock goes down. And when the stock market goes down, the negative beta... So a negative beta of 22 is absolutely insane. That is mind-blowing. That means for every 1 the stock drops, GameStop goes up 22. And for every 1 that the stock goes, the Dow goes up, GameStop drops 22. That's a crazy beta. I can't even imagine that that's even going on right now. It just doesn't make any sense to me at the moment. So, yeah, that's the basics of the beta. You have to look at what time frame it is, though. If it's the beta for like the last year, -22 might make sense because GameStop's up 1,000% over that time. Ginga Rilla Pig. Hey Houston, how hard will you really find it to not sell a share of Gmail at the price of $10,000, $50,000 a share? How many other people or institutions will also hold that long? I think that's going to be a total test of people's will. They're gonna be looking at their brokerage accounts, and they're going to see a whole bunch of zeros and commas in there, and that's going to test their souls, man. Yeah, I mean, 10,000 a share, that's a good chunk of change. It's not life changing for me. 50,000, we're getting close to something I could retire off of, but it needs to be 100,000 a share for me to get retirement. And that's why I'm doing my ladder sales strategy, is because I know if I sell all my shares at $100,000 a share, I'm retired and I don't have to worry about anything anymore. So I'm going to sell one at $100,000 and then set the limit order for the next share 50% more than that. And when that one sells, I'll set the limit order for the next share 50% more than that. And I'm going to work my way up, and after 7 shares, I'm selling for well more than $1 million a share. After 14 shares, I'm selling for $20 million a share. After 21 shares, I've sold $1 billion in shares. And I'll have plenty more left for the infinity pool afterwards. So that's my ladder strategy, because exponential growth is something gnarly that a lot of people don't think of. It's been said many ways, but there's an old fable. And the way I heard it was, this court jester happened to like save the king's life, stop an arrow or something and save the king's life. So the king was like, I can give you anything you want. You want to be a duke, you want to own land, you want to be a baron. And the jester said, no, here's what I tell you. Here's what we're gonna do. Take a chessboard. You're gonna put 1 penny on the first square, 2 pennies on the second square, 4 pennies on the fourth square. You're just gonna double it each square until all 64 squares are full of pennies. And by the time the king got to like the 20th square, he was out of money in the entire kingdom, and that was it. The jester owned everything. So the king had the jester killed for duping him. People don't realize the power of exponential growth. Exponential growth is gnarly. I mean, it's how with COVID, we went from 1 infection in November of 2019 to millions dead a year later from that 1 infection. Exponential growth is gnarly. And the doubling rates of things based off the exponential growth are quite incredible. It's like speeding up compound interest, essentially. If my strategy, if I sell my 1 share at a time and I get to the 14th share and the price isn't moving any higher than that, then I have no problem selling the rest of my shares for $20 million a share and be quite comfortable, because that is more money than I'll ever be able to spend in a lifetime, because I'm not going to be out there like buying Bond villain islands and nuclear submarines. I'm going to sit on a beach and read books. I don't really need much money to do that. And bomb around in my truck and smash rocks. I'll be doing that too. Jason Blackwell, hey Houston, what happened on each day that triggered major market crashes in the past? Why the crash on those particular days, 1987, tech bubble, 2008? Is there a common catalyst? Well, I think the common catalyst is essentially people found a loophole, exploited that loophole until it burnt them in the ass. And I think that's the commonality. Prior to the modern age, most market crashes happened in the fall. It's because of a confluence of a few things. Corporate taxes are due. Summer layoffs happen. Construction starts to slow down come the fall, therefore orders drop. In the modern era, usually come winter quarter, like fourth quarter, is when you see huge amounts of retail sales because they managed to market Christmas like crazy. So retail sees explosions in sale, and that usually saves their year. They usually do half their sales in just a few months before Christmas. But the dot-com bubble was a realization that you just can't throw your money at something that is dot-com and expect to make money back. And that a lot of those companies just blew through their venture capital money on useless shit. Parties, masseuses, vacations. They spent money on all sorts of things. They thought, this is going to last forever. And then all of a sudden, they had to actually produce a product, and they couldn't. Or they got a whole bunch of venture capital money for a really stupid idea. Like mycaddy.com. We're going to have a website where you can hire someone at minimum wage, and they'll come do whatever you need them to do. Walk your dog, mow your yard. Okay, but no one showed up because no one wanted to do that job. So mycaddy.com vaporizes. Rivals.com, who I worked for. Rivals.com had a pretty brilliant idea, which is essentially live streaming sports broadcasts from everything from Little League games through college sports all over the world. Awesome. In 1989, 2000, 2001, no one had broadband internet and could watch any of these live stream sports. So they imploded because they had no customers, right? It doesn't do any good to be live streaming a soccer game in, Duluth, Georgia, when no one can watch a soccer game because no one has broadband internet. Today it would work because everyone has broadband internet. I think Disney or someone bought all of Rivals' patents for like $40,000, and it's right now you're watching me on a live stream on YouTube, probably from a patent that Rivals.com created 20 years ago for their live streaming sports games, and then they did never live to see it. I was technically once a millionaire. I had $3 million in stock, and showed up to work in the door was padlocked and the stock wasn't worth anything anymore. I was 19. I was just gonna spend it on skiing in penthouses, and I'd be poor 4 months later. Believe me, I didn't know what I was doing. Okay. I am like 40 minutes behind in the chat now. I'm gonna skip some chats here and get closer to the actual time. Oop, there we go. All right. So I'm gonna get to the chats that are at super chat. I'm gonna have to do that one. This is from Drew Soul. Thanks for answering my question. Post MOAS, get Starlink internet on your camper so you can continue these amazing streams. Thanks again. I'm definitely going to be getting Starlink or SoftBank or someone so that I can have gigabit internet anywhere in the world and not to rely on the crappiest internets on Earth. Yeah. So they need to get Starlink up and running, and I hope T-Mobile is one of the companies that will be signed up with Starlink, so I don't have to worry about switching brands. It's just annoying. I have to switch companies all the time. Okay. Oh, Leaky Mountain's giving some volcano lessons to people. Olympus Mons, 80,000 feet tall. It sits outside of the Martian atmosphere. When you're at the top of Olympus Mons, you are in outer space. And it's the size of Missouri. It's a huge
Great place
mountain.
to launch.
Yeah. Great place to launch from. Basically, if we didn't have tectonic plates moving around, right? If we didn't have like the Pacific Plate moving, all of the volcanics that have been pumping out of Hawaii, making the Hawaiian island chains move along that stretch that goes up under Kamchatka Peninsula, would probably create a super volcano, a giant Olympus Mons type volcano on Earth, because it wouldn't be just paper trail of old islands along the way.
It's a big Yellowstone.
Yeah, all those volcanoes just. But it's like. The Earth has the trots, but the Earth is like running while it has the trots, leaving behind these little volcanic blobs along the way. Okay. All right, let's look for these questions here. What we got? OBS is trying to there we go. My OBS just reconnected again. All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry. My OBS just disconnected from the internet again, and now it's reconnected. I don't know if I actually answered people's questions or if I was frozen for a long time on there.
I'll let you know anytime it freezes up.
All right. I can see it in the corner. I'm looking at the questions and not the fact that I'm frozen in the corner of my screen. There's like a 10 or 20 second delay on this I see, and then it gives me a warning that, hey, OBS decided not use the internet anymore. And the fact that I am in the middle of an island 2,500 miles from any other landmass, and I'm using electrons photons sent through the air, converted to electrons, put through wires, that are sent the photons to a satellite somewhere, or sent on a cable under the ocean, and I'm able to communicate with the rest of the world. It's just so, if there's hiccups every once in a while, I'm sure there's a good enough reason. There you go. Meyer says, guess people are worried that brokers are going to screw them during MOAS. I bet some brokers will screw them during MOAS, and they'll be facing gigantic lawsuits as a result. Because I think those brokerages are looking at what's happening with was it the IEX and Robinhood and all those folks. So they're seeing that there's going to be some huge lawsuits and thus some huge settlements they're going to have to deal with. And either way, people can get rich. So, yeah. Corey Reagan, hey Houston, have you seen the first official trailer for the new Matrix movie that got released this week? Heck yeah, I saw it. I'm stoked. I think what I liked about the trailer was I didn't get... Here, all right, OBS just connected again. Oh, you son of a biscuit. All right. Okay, so we'll go back to that. Corey Reagan asks, Houston, have you seen the first official trailer for the new Matrix movie that just got released this week? Yes, and it was awesome. I am stoked. The first Matrix movie utilized green screen in a way that no one else had before, and it was revolutionary, and bullet time and all that stuff just blew people's minds. The second two Matrix movies were too green screened. They weren't enough filmed on location, and it was too, what do they call it? What's the term for it? The Valley of, I was just reading about it today. Valley of recognition. There's like a certain thing humans have an ability, they can recognize something that's like fake versus real that animals cannot, and there's just a little tinge of fake versus real that didn't quite work. I mean, there are still some awesome fight scenes. The fight scene in the lobby of the mansion was awesome. In Matrix, what was the second one? Matrix Revisited? Matrix, whatever. But the new movie looks like they're filmed like on location in actual cities and not so much with the green screen. And I think that's going to make a big difference for just how crisp the movie is versus like the fuzziness that always adds computer animation to stuff. So I like practical effects. Practical effects in movies always make me happy versus computer animation and things. And every once in a while computer animation is really good, but you always can tell. You can just tell that's not real. I like real. I like actual explosions versus computer animated ones. From above, if computers take over buying, is it possible they grab up every sell order on the book, regardless of price, making price settle on random number between halts? Only place orders a certain percent above price. I think they're just going to scoop up everything that's the lowest and then go to the next one. And that's what they're going to do. They're just going to keep scooping up because, like, while they can't sit around and nitpick and wait for low prices because they want to close as fast as they can, they also don't want to get screwed. So they'll scoop up everything that's at the lowest price, hoping more people put prices in that zone and they can gather up more, or dumping at market price and they can get those at the same time. And once those are cleared out, they'll move to the next one. And once those are cleared out, they'll move to the next one. They may run out of cash for a day and have to wait for another injection from the Fed or the Treasury or someone else before they can buy more. So we might see weird halts from that, where buying pressure dries up and we're like, what, did it stop? And the next day it starts all over again because they got another injection of $100 billion or whatever it is they need to close out all these positions. So I don't think they'll just grab all the limit orders. I think they'll grab the limit orders level by level and work their way up. Good morning from Florida. Oh, it's an early morning in Florida for you. Gross.
Uncanny Valley.
Uncanny Valley. Thank you.
Yeah, you had a whole bunch of people chime in.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention.
Uncanny Valley. That's the term I was looking for. Thank you. That's the thing is that I'll get close.
Samsonite, I was really off.
Samsonite. Slappy? Dumb and Dumber is a good movie too.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was living in New Jersey, and I had traveled out there. I was like 14, and I had hair down to here, and I was 6'2" when I was 14, 6'3", somewhere around there. And we went and saw Dumb and Dumber movie theater, and on our way out, these two like little Guido dudes were like, "What are you, some kind of girl?" in front of my mom to me, and I was like, "Have you ever had your ass kicked by a girl before?" And my mom was like, "Oh, it broke those little guys." Yeah. If you haven't noticed, whenever someone trolls me, I just challenge them to a fight, like at all times. It works. They're always like, "Oh, I think I made a mistake." So, you know, if you're gonna be a dick troll, yeah, just challenge them to a fight. If you're gonna be like a whip smart troll that just kind of fucks people's brains, then you can't really challenge them to a fight because you're like, "Oh, you bested me. I must think of some better, wittier thing to do." But, you know, if you make it a battle of wits, I'll enjoy that way more. Okay. Yes, Jeffrey, thank you. Uncanny Valley. That is the can't wait to think of that thing. But yeah, you can take a facsimile of a cat and put it in front of a cat, and the cat will freak the hell out. Same thing with the dog. You know, You've seen like funny videos of there's like a bronze statue that's sitting on a bench and a dog keeps trying to drop a stick in the bronze statue's lap to get it to throw a stick for him. They don't have the ability to see these things and go, oh, that's fake. There's even human beings that can't do it. The ones that get fooled by certain deep fakes and
They're called Trump supporters.
Yeah. Clive Calculator. I read T.S. Spivet and recommendation. Movie's okay too. I couldn't make it past the movie, but the book I found absolutely beautiful. The movie I made it like 15 minutes in, and I just was like, I can't do this. They've destroyed the beauty of that book, which is all about science, and made this like perpetual motion machine thing. And I was like, delete. So I didn't make it through that. Oh no! Someone said something about North Shore of Lake Superior. My thing just vanished. Where are we going? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Oh. Ryan says super chat. Thank you, Ryan. If I see a question there, I'll do it. There's something about North Shore Lake Superior, and I lost it. There's Drew Soul's question.
Hey, your assistant producer for you. I'll find it.
Okay. I got my own site producer right now. I'm not drunk, Ryan is.
That's why he's super chatting. He's like, let's do shots for shots. It's like, you have to super chat if you want to do a shot. I got you there.
I have my champion over here. Caffeine user asks, what will be the stops on Houston's World Geology Tour after MOAS? Well, the big three are going to be Socotra, which is a weird island off of Yemen. It's got some weird rocks, some weird like endemic baobab trees. Definitely the Seychelles, because I want to go sit on some granitic beaches. And I really want to sail the Dalmatian coast really bad. So those three will be like the first three that Rich Houston does. I'll probably hang out with like Russian supermodels or something, well, because those are all those places they go. And then will probably come the four-wheel driving and all my custom badass 4x4 RV. And then Monkey Butt and I are hitting the globe, man. We'll go to Terra del Fuego. We'll put that sucker on a ship and send it to Namibia. We'll bomb across Africa. We'll do the Sahara Desert. We'll go through Saudi Arabia, the Arabian Peninsula. We'll head up to, Persia if they let us in. I'll bomb across the Gobi. I'll do the Himalayas. I don't care. I'll go everywhere. Let's do it all. Siberia. Get stuck in some bogs. Get eaten alive by mosquitoes.
See the Permian Triassic boundary.
Yep. That'd be yes. Yes. Let's see the Siberian traps.
The trap.
Okay, where the heck did that
I'm looking.
Lake Superior question go? How did I miss it? Where'd you go? There was a Lake Superior question, and I don't see it anywhere. Okay.
Once I find out, I'll just bring my
All right.
phone over to you.
Bro, Mustard Homie asks, Houston is the predicted market correction in SPY speculated to be the worse than 2008 crash. Also, what are your thoughts on the upcoming inflation rate for last month, 14 September release? I bet we'll see inflation will be at between 4 and 6% probably. What we saw in the job numbers was they're expecting 750,000 new jobs. Only got 250,000, so they only got 30% of what they're hoping for. And it's the end of summer, so a whole bunch of people that had summer work are going to be out of work come September or middle September. So I think the job numbers for September will probably look even worse than August's were. But the SPY crash, I think the SPY crash will probably be something similar to initially, probably similar to something we saw in 2011 when we were in a debt crisis standoff and we actually got our credit rating downgraded. I think it will look something like that, where we shave off 20% or so off the SPY. or SPX and similar. Now, if that causes a MOAS to happen, then it's going to redouble. It's going to keep dropping because then we're going to see hedge funds dumping these blue chips to meet their, because they're getting liquidated, they have no choice, to close out positions. And then on the 27th, we've got all these, pink sheet, all these Q stocks are going to close. And hedge funds are going to have to do something about the fact that these shares are closing, and there may be some forced buybacks before everything can close. So we're such a weird confluence of events. I don't know what else can happen. I wrote a Twitter thread the other day, and I think it came up with 12 factors that are just screwing everything over. I think I can remember them all right now. All right, we got MOAS. That's one. We've got the debt crisis. We've got supply chain problems. We've got housing crisis. We've got corporate debt crisis. We've got, oh man, I'm only thinking of 5 right now. We've got credit crunch. We've got, it's the 6. Where are the other ones? Oh my goodness. I can't even think of them all. I mean, I put them on a list that have next to the computer at all times, and I can ramble them off. I think I had 12 of them in there, and yeah, I can't even think of it. There's so many things in a row that can all happen that make things just go bonkers. Ed Sands 2, I think Houston's ladder selling can prevent bag holders, but also lower the potential for the peak. Yeah, maybe, but I don't care. I'll be retired. But again, if the peak is $10 million, I made it there by share 12, share 13. So I still have a whole bunch left for the infinity pool. Long-time, first-time from Champ Ion. Do you know the best place to hunt in Utah? Not near Dugway. Want to take my girlfriend out. Go to, what's it called? It's in the Thomas Range. It is Topaz Cove. Is that what it's called? So if you go to Delta, Utah, I might as well, I can bring up the map. Duh, I forgot I could do that in this thing. One sec, let me get my Google Earth going. I've just absolutely crashed this entire internet service trying to load this sucker up. Let the fan turn on the computer here. Okay, I gotta go here.
Freezing.
I know I'm freezing. We go there. Google Earth is coming. It's coming. It is not quite there. It's still coming. We're loading. We're loading. All right. So, Central West Utah. We're getting down here. Do my borders on? Got borders and labels. Okay. So, Salt Lake City. Gotta go a little further south. Highway 50. So this is gonna be it here. That's gonna be Thomas Range, isn't it? Delta, Utah should be somewhere in here, I believe. Right? Am I right? Is that? There's Delta. Okay, there's Delta, Utah. That's where we want to go. Head up a little bit north, and in here is, I believe, the Brush-Wellman mine, which is where all the basically 99.9% of the world's beryllium comes from there. And then the Wawa Mountains are in here, and no, that's Fish Springs Wildlife Refuge. You're in the wrong spot. Where's Brush-Wellman Road? Where are you, you son of a bitch? There should be a giant mine somewhere in here. Oh, there's great hot springs over here. I forgot what those hot springs are called, but they are freaking nuclear. They will cook you like a fish, like a fried fish. Okay, so you follow this road. Brush-Wellman mine is somewhere in here. Where are you? I don't know, but but Topaz Cove, I think, is this guy. I think that's what it's called. Or Gemstone Cove or something like that. Oh, there's the Brushwellman mine. There it is. This is where all the beryllium for the world comes from. I found it. Okay, so there is an area. There it is. This in here. This is like a Bureau of Land Management area. Topaz Mountain, that's where it is. And it's like Gemstone Cove or something, what they call this area. It's in the Thomas Range in Utah. And you can find champagne topaz. You just basically, crack open the rock and there'll be friggin' topaz everywhere. It's really cool champagne color, but if you leave it in the sunshine, it bleaches out. And so then you get this like crystal clear one, which also looks kind of nice, but it also looks like just a piece of glass at that point. So if you find them, put them in the shade. And then you can find bixbite, which are these little red hexagonal, they look like little six-sided stop signs, little red beautiful stones. And they're one of the rarest gemstones in the world. Gem quality ones sell for, $6,000 a carat when they're cut. And you can actually find those guys all through here. Up on the west side is where you mostly find them. It's pretty steep up there, but you'll find the little stop signs of the stones. Cool area. Also bixbyite. You can go through here, and if you find like where a little tree is growing out, you can pull the tree out because it's growing in a little natural cavity, and inside that cavity will be all sorts of crystals. You can pull the crystals out and then just stuff the tree back in so it'll reroot. It's pretty awesome. Use the trees to mine.
Here's Lake Superior.
Oh, you found the Lake Superior question? Okay.
Here we go.
Matt Daynard. Hey, Houston, I live on the north shore of Lake Superior. What are some cool rocks and aggregates to look for? Oh, the Lake Superior agates. Get the Lake Superior agates. Those are the badass ones. Might as well go to Lake Superior right now since we already got the Google Earth up. Zooming out. Oh, zooming in. Zooming out. Zoom out. Out. This thing does not work. Oh, wrong way. Out. Out. I don't have a mouse with a wheel, and it does not want to work the way I want it to work. Okay. North Shore of Lake Superior. So you're somewhere up here. Are you Canadian North Shore of Lake Superior? Well, it doesn't matter. You can still get the agates all over the place. So the agates, Lake Superior agates are awesome. The way they think they formed is, these layers of ice form in the lakes in the wintertime. And then sometimes the ice goes all the way down to the bottom of the lake near the shore, and the wave action causes it to go back and forth. As it goes back and forth, it grinds the rocks and grinds the silica off the rocks, and that silica pools in these little cavities that are down there below the ice, and eventually makes layer after layer after layer of the silica, and forms these like striated agates that are really cool. And they are like the gemstone of Lake Superior. They're bitchin'. You polish them out, or you do a thin section of them. They're really cool looking. They look like crazy rainbow tiger stripe things. That's the thing to look for. And then if you head, out from there, you get to like up here into the craton of the continent, and it's all sorts of like wild gold, copper, silver, nickel, things like that out there. So, but easiest to just walk the beach and find agates than to actually fight through all the mosquitoes for the 3 months a year you can and try to find cold outcrops. Okay, let's get back to Big Houston. Boom. And then back to live stream where I can see the questions. And there we go. All right. Oh, there's a super chat I missed in here. This is another one from Ryan. Fuck, marry, kill your top 3 gemstones. Also, Jake do shot. Wee. Okay. All right. Top 3 gemstones: fire agates, black opals. What would be also up there that I like a lot? I like demontoid garnets. We'll say those 3: fire agates, black opals, demontoid garnets. I'd marry a demontoid garnet. I'd fuck a Mexican fire agate, and I would kill a black opal. And the reasons are: demontoid garnets, nice hard stone, beautiful, like some of the most refractive index you can get. The horsehair inclusions are really cool inside of them. Mexican fire agate, it's an agate, so it's got a hardness of 7. It's going to last. They are absolutely crazy on the inside. They give this like weird 3D effect, like you're looking into like the pillars of creation out in space. And I would kill opal, because while opal is one of the most beautiful things in the entire world, those things chip like crazy and will just piss you off. So, and sometimes you sort of like put them in a snow globe to admire them, because if they have such a high water content in them, if they dehydrate even a little, they just turn white and crack and shatter, and they aren't worth anything anymore. So they're gorgeous, but my God, do they piss me off sometimes. There's my reasons. There's my FMK. Okay. All right. Oh, I get like 20 more uncanny valleys in there. Okay, there we go. Reset. I'm going to skip a bunch of questions here because I'm like, or still a half an hour behind the questions. All right. Chase Bank Fraud just texted me about super chats. He said it wouldn't send unless I tried again. Oh. You're spending too much money at the strip club. You should really think about. So what happened to me is I was trying to get on board with this arbitrage that was happening with Shiba Inu being listed in Coinbase Pro, and so I was like, hell, if I can take a bunch of Shiba Inu and dump into Coinbase Pro and sell it for 20 times what I paid for it, I might as well buy a whole bunch in Crypto.com. So I bought like 70 million Shiba Inu, which is worth like $3,000 on Coinbase, and for a few $100, and I bought it. They deposited my account. I transferred it over and missed it. But then I got this notice from the bank that said, "Hey, we don't know what's going on. We declined your transaction." So I think I just got 70 million Shiba Inu for free from Crypto.com because it declined my transaction, but they gave me all the Shiba Inu for it. So I don't know. Just no one tells crypto, please. If crypto's watching, it totally didn't happen.
Can't prove it.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I'm talking about food shortages. Yeah, the supply chain is going to get weird. We've got some mounting things. We don't just only have this problem with supply chain for computer chips and whatnot. We've got weird things where like milk can't be delivered because the milk jugs never showed up at the dairy, and all of a sudden a week later you start getting weird different milk jugs that people are using because factory shut down somewhere because there's a supply chain issue, and the plastic pellets that never arrived on the ship because they're sitting offshore off of some weird city in Canada when they're supposed to be in Panama City or something. And there's weird things happening in the supply chain. With food, there's a few other terrible things. One is we aren't allowing migrant laborers to work in the U.S. We are keeping a lot of our workforce from entering the country to do the labor work. 90% of farm workers were not born in the United States. So every single person who is very anti-immigration, you're basically saying, hey, I want to starve to death. Because you are not willing to work and pick lettuce in a farm field, we want to relegate that to some poor person who comes from another country. So, a few years ago, Georgia made it harder for migrant workers to come to Georgia and work in the fields. And Georgia had like $30 billion in food rot in their fields because no one came to pick the peaches and the other fruits. And, you have a supply chain issue. So now in the United States, we've got an issue. We've got labor shortages. We've got crazy floods that have wiped out, last year, like millions and millions and millions of heads of cattle in Nebraska and Iowa were just gone. And cornfields wiped out. And so not only do you don't have the workers, but you don't have the fields already. We've lost, millions of heads of cattle. And then Great Britain's in the problem that they voted for Brexit. And Brexit means most of their food can't come into the country because most of the food came from elsewhere in the world, especially Europe. And so there's no easy way to feed the British people. So they're signing weird agreements with the United States to have the U.S. like export food to Great Britain, but the U.S. is having its own supply chain problems with its food because we aren't allowing migrant laborers to come in to work the farm fields, and we're just going to starve ourselves to death because we're a bunch of xenophobes. It's really stupid. Like, just quit being so stupid and selfish and help this global economy actually work. God damn it, why are we so dumb? I don't get it. It just is the most frustrating, stupid, xenophobic, racist crap, and we're shooting ourselves in the foot because of it. Late night Houston, pissing me off.
It's a good thing you don't drink.
Mm-hmm. There would be a Sierra Nevada bottle through that sliding glass door right now. DeGiro Europe says has no plans to restrict buying of Sears. They haven't heard anything from their custodian about the Frankfurt listing. Interesting. All right. Okay, LK just sent me some coordinates. Let's see what's in the coordinates. We might as well see what's in the coordinates, right? I gotta click on scenes. There's my Google Earth. Bring up the Google Earth. Dump. Control V. Enter. Go somewhere. There we go. Are we going somewhere? We're flying. We're flying. There we go. We are going to... Where am I? I have no idea where I am. Am I off Iceland? Am I off... There is nothing there. I see nothing. You sent me nowhere. I don't know where I am. I know I'm somewhere in the North Atlantic. I couldn't even tell where I was heading here. Oh, that's what we're looking at. Yeah, it's a big giant L. That's what we're looking at. Okay, wonder what you are. That's interesting. Wonder if you're a glitch. That's what you're pointing me at. Okay. What could be causing that? That is a 90-degree angle. That's weird. It's got to be a glitch of some kind. I have no idea what that is. Where am I off here? Am I off Scotland? Oh no, I'm off Ireland. Okay, Northern Ireland.
Frozen again.
Frozen again, you son of a biscuit. OBS, you son of a... I am frozen again. Oh, no, coming back. Bounced around 1 second there. I think my computer is doing battle with the internet and trying to figure out why I'm opening up so many apps on my tiny little computer. So yeah, there's an L off of Northern Ireland, and I don't know why. I want to know why. It can't just be a glitch, can it? Look at that thing. That's an L. Interesting. I don't know what that's all about. Weird. I have no idea what that is. I wonder what, if I just Google giant L in ocean Ireland. I don't know what that is. No, I'm just getting Giant's Causeway. What if I do minus Causeway? Nope. Nothing tells me what it is. I have no idea why there's an L off the coast of Ireland. Sorry, I'm of no help. I mean, that's weird looking. What the hell? I'm gonna have to do some more searching, figure out what the hell's going on there. Because I don't know. Alright, back to Big Houston. Bing! Big Houston. Back to live streaming. Back to the questions. Not a clue. Not a clue, LK, of what that is. Might be a glitch. Because I can't figure out what else it could be. Zach Minter, are we seeing smaller hedge funds dying yet? Nothing's been announced. There was that one British hedge fund that was like $450 million that just threw in the towel. They're like, we can't win against GameStop. We're done. So there might be some others that just haven't quite announced what's going on. But the only two that have really said we're done, Archegos and whatever that British one was that lost a few $100 million. So. Hi Houston, question, what timeline do you see Sears play out? They've got omnibus bankruptcy hearing, whatever that means, I think on the 27th. And that, I think, will lay out a time scale as to how things happen. So we're I will probably have more info then as to how it plays out. But also, like, those restricted stocks can no longer trade on any platform after, I think, the 27th. So we'll see. We will be able to sell to institutions up until the 27th. We just can't buy it anymore, and we can't sell it to each other as a result. So only institutions can play with the GameStop stocks. BTW brand, people who don't know how the real world really works are put in charge of making the rules. Yeah, that's kind of true. I just read a long Twitter thread today that was about the U.S. involvement in the Iraq War and what just a cluster that was. And they're taking like 19-year-olds from Liberty University because they're just gung-ho for George Bush, and they're putting them in charge of like economic policy in a war-torn Iraq, and just what a disaster zone everything was. And people have such a problem with expertise. Like, oh, this person spent their entire career mastering this topic. Why on earth would I listen to them? I can listen to the guy that failed biology class in my high school, who has, a arrest record a mile long. He must know what he's talking about. It's appreciate expertise. Appreciate somebody's like ability to master a topic. At least hear him out, man. Seriously. It's a guy in your closet. Yeah, unemployment extensions. I forgot about that. I forgot to add that one in there. Unemployment extensions finished this past week on the 4th or the 6th or something. So the states that ended their unemployment like 2 months earlier, hoping to get people back to work, have the highest COVID rates out there and are suffering as a result of that. Now, there are people that were like, yeah, I'm not going to work while I'm getting unemployment money, because why would I? But I think what a lot of people don't realize was that the reset of not having to work for a year as a result of getting, an extra $2,000 a month or whatever it might be from whatever dead-end awful job you had. You're getting $600 a week extra on top of your unemployment, or $300 as it ended up being in the end. Allowed them to be, oh, you know what? I don't like working a kitchen 14 hours a day. I want to do something else with my life. They mastered another skill. They honed their art. They went to school. They did things that were like, I am never going to live that hard 14-hour-a-day, 6-day-a-week life ever again. And so when the restaurants opened back up, not all their employees came back because they're like, fuck you, I'm doing something else. and they did it, and more power to them, man. Like, we have this strange Puritan work ethic in the U.S. that is so detrimental to like our mental well-being that we shouldn't have to work 50, 60, 70 hours a week. Think about it. Like, if you're working 80 hours a week, all you're doing is the job of two people, right? You should make a living wage for your first 40 hours, and then they should have somebody else work the other 40 hours. You should be able to live your life beyond work. Work isn't life. Like, it isn't. I mean, yes, we have to have a job and a task to survive, but that's not all we were put on this earth to do. Like, does a feral cat have to like pay rent? No. Right? Like, we're the only species on earth that pay for the privilege of living on earth. It's a really weird thing to try and wrap your mind around, but you know, France does a 35-hour work week. They're happy. They've got mandatory 5-week vacations in Norway, right? So we can live our lives differently, happier, with less stress, and still be incredibly productive. We don't need to take pride. Oh, I worked 100 hours last week. Fuck you. Like, don't work 100 hours. Just don't. Go do something else with your life. You work 100 hours and then you die. Good job. Lame. Better things to do with your life, man. I do not recommend it. That's why, you know, I left the .com rat race, and I like it. I might not make as much money, but I get to use my brain more, and I don't have to wake up in the mornings, and I enjoy life much more. Enjoy life, man. If you've got the power to do it, do what you can to enjoy life, and moass it. Ideas matter. Can you talk about how shorts affect metamaterial? Well, the way they do anything else, right? They, you know, metamaterial itself is shorted. I mean, Ortex and those guys will say 8%. It's probably double that at least. Plus, that's only what's reported. They don't report anything that goes to dark pools. They don't report naked shares. So there's no reporting on those things. What we have different with metamaterial is that they absorbed a company that was probably shorted the tunes of billions of shares. And none of that is recorded at all in Ortex or FINRA or any of those other reporting services. So the actual short percentage of metamaterial might be astronomical. There's about 180 million shares of stock out there, and that's it. So if there's a billion shares of Torchlight's been shorted, then you know the other reverse split might be 500 million shares. So yeah, they're shorted 4 to 5 times over. That's still a lot, right? So, you know, metamaterial is going to squeeze, and it's just a matter of not if but when for that sucker. Okay, I'm going to do a couple more questions and then actually sleep, because I'm going to be sitting in the sunshine more tomorrow, which is just the most exhausting thing you can do. Okay. 10 miles from nowhere asks, what's the latest guesstimate for total volume that shorts need to cover? Example, the point where computers stop buying, both for AMC and GME. Well, on the low end for GME, I think it's going to be like 1.5 billion shares. On the high end, 4 billion, somewhere in there. That's why I have my ladder method, because I'm not sure. It's somewhere in there. AMC, if you believe the tally from when people were registering their shares, it could be like 18 billion. So, you know, that's a lot. AMC is, you know, 10 times the float of GME, so why shouldn't it be 10 times the naked synthetics out there? bonkers to think about. Okay. BTW brand, we work more and are more efficient now than we've ever been, yet earn less and less. Has only opened people's eyes to options that exist. Yeah, it's true. The United States produces like 90% of the amount of steel we did in the 1970s, but the workforce in the steel industry is a quarter that, right? Their politicians are like, we're going to bring back U.S. steel jobs. No, they're not. They're not coming back. They mechanized everything, right? The factory that had 5,000 guys working in it has 1,000 guys working in it now, and they're producing just as much steel as they were before. Those jobs aren't coming back. They're not. I was reading this thing in the news about a pizza restaurant in, I think it was Florida, was celebrating like the 20th anniversary, and the owner of the restaurant was like, hey, to celebrate our 20th anniversary, all the profits can be going to you, my employees, tonight. So work as hard as you can, and you get all the profit for tonight. Congratulations. Woo, thanks for 20 years. And the pizza employees ended up averaging $78 an hour that day. And they're like, wait a minute, you make this much money every day off of our labor? And the pizza owner was like, yeah. And they're like, we quit. Like, why would we work for $5 an hour tipped wage or $2.13 tipped wage when you make $78 an hour off of 20 different people all day, every day? And the guy was like, oh, I didn't realize. Like, there's something to be said about like realizing your worth and figuring out when you're being screwed. And the United States, the productivity in the United States has just climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed, and wages have just stayed the same. And you look at 1950s, a CEO might be making 15 times their lowest paid employee. Now a CEO is making like 900 times their lowest paid employee. And why is that? Well, part of it is absolute greed. Another part is that we used to have a much more fractionalized market with a lot more competitors. And so you'd have smaller companies and just a boatload more executives as a result. So if you had, I don't know, right now we got the big three car firms, right? Well, go back 60, 70 years, there was a whole bunch of more car firms out there. And they slowly got consolidated. So, General Motors bought Pontiac and Buick and Cadillac and Chevrolet and whatever. They consolidated them into General Motors. Ford bought Mercury and Lincoln. You had American Motors. You had Studebaker. You had Packard. You had all these different companies all over the place. And they all got consolidated in American Motors, and then they got bought by Chrysler, and all consolidated. These folks used to have a dozen CEOs across all these companies, and then they got consolidated, and they had one CEO. And the management got restricted, and they got rid of redundancies because you didn't need those redundancies when you consolidated them under one roof. And so, the pyramid gets a lot steeper when you scoop up all the competition, you put them under you. So if you get the point where CEOs are making 900 times whatever other folks are. Like my brother is a C-level executive for a company, and he's like, this is the easiest job I've ever had. I'm making the most money in my entire life. Like I just dictate, people do things that I used to do, and now I don't do any of those things anymore. It's crazy when you get to that level. Ryan, whoa, just realized Leaky Mountain volcano reference, and I felt that deserved a super chat. Also, one more shot for Jake before stream ends. Whee! All right, Leaky Mountain's keeping this chat going today as I go off on my bitter supply chain rants and heat workers are being screwed rants.
You gotta pay to play.
You gotta pay. All right, let's do one more good one here, and then Code Fate. What jobs will be gone due to automation in the future? Oh man, a lot of them. Think about it. Like, if we made driverless cars to the point where we don't need truck drivers anymore, right? then those trucks are driving around doing their own thing. That means you probably won't need the garbage man anymore because you automate that whole thing. So the truck's driving itself, pulling up, grabbing trash cans and tossing them into the back and then setting them down, going to the next spot. Post office guys, the sorting machine sorts everything at the post office, puts it into address boxes, and some robot drives up and just shoves it in your mailbox and takes off. You got machines flipping burgers. You have machines running all the trains. You have machines doing a lot of white-collar analyst jobs because they've got AI predictive technologies that'll be bonkers. Whatever job you're doing, if you can think of a way to automate it, someone else has too. So that's why a lot of folks are leaning towards like a UBI. It's crazy to think about. My sister lived in Russia just after the fall of communism, like traveled all over the place, and she brought back this textbook. And the textbook was like how to speak English textbook, English language textbook. And all the phrases were like the most blatant communist propaganda. And one of the things that really struck me in there was there's this like sentence that's in English and then translated into Russian and then it's like phonetic in English. It was something to the effect of, in America, you have to work hard. And you work all the time and your boss treats you like garbage. But in Russia, we get all the free time in the world. We can do whatever we want and our lives are great. And it was like the strangest sentence ever. But, it was like this utopian sentence for what the ideal of communism was pictured to be, which is, yes, we own the means of production and therefore we have all these rights. And it didn't quite work out that way because, sociopaths run everything no matter what system you're in. But, I think the Soylent Green, Logan's Run type future is probably a lot more realizable now because, or Wall-E, where we just are fat things floating around in chairs with screens in our faces all the time. I think that's.
I'm offended.
What?
I'm sitting there with the screen in front of my face and you call me that.
He's in his chair. It doesn't have wheels on it, so you're okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. one more step to go. All right. I think that's it. We're at 2 hours and change here for After Dark in Hawaii. Thank you, folks, for jumping in and hanging out and chit-chatting and letting me go on rants. I'll try to do a show perhaps Monday. I might try to go to South Point on Monday. We'll see. I haven't jumped off cliffs in a while. Will I get reception out of South Point? I could do a hilarious show out in the windiest place in the entire world.
You have T-Mobile, so I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe.
That's right.
Yeah. And Deck P, thank you for the super chat. One to go, Ryan. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Enjoy yourselves. Take care of each other. Happy thoughts. And hopefully Monday starts being real green for us. All right, folks.